Where's the man box?
Out front by the bushes. It's a square box that sticks up out of the ground. Left, if you go out the driveway, take a left, yeah.
All righty, we are here. We are live on YouTube.
Okay, great.
So what I'd like us to think about here is I know that, you know, you and I, we met, what, now it's got to be a year and a half ago, 2 years ago now?
Yeah, more than that. Yeah, you were, when you were running, right?
Yeah, so probably about maybe 2.5 years ago.
2.5 years ago, yeah, 2.5 years.
We met about 2.5 years ago. And I remember when we first started talking, and it was, what I thought about you is I thought you were so passionate, and I thought that what you were telling me simply couldn't be true. I thought you were just this guy's just passionate. He's just believing whatever the hype is. There's no way that this guy can be true. And then I found out that you literally are co-host of the Canna We Talk radio show. And we went on and we talked, and you gave me so much information. I actually went back later and did my own homework thinking, this guy can't be real. I was doubting you. I'm telling you the truth. I doubted you, Peter. I really did.
I know.
And then all of a sudden I went and looked and I said, oh my God, this guy's the real deal.
Yeah.
This guy's the real deal.
That's because I really never talked about smoking pot. I talked about the benefits of cannabis because cannabis has such benefits. And I explained the endocannabinoid system and the ECS to Larry. And that's what he went back and looked at. And when we all generally realize that that is the largest regulatory system in every mammal on this planet, we understand how essential cannabis can be and is to us.
I had never heard of that until you told me. And I think I know, I mean, I'm not like brilliant, but I know average stuff, right? I know generic things. I thought that I had known that. And when you told me about that, and I went back and looked at it, I thought, this is an entire system I hadn't even heard of. Why in my 50 years of life had I never heard about this? Well, that was a thing that shocked me.
Yeah, well, it was discovered, you know, in the late 90s, first off. So it's relatively a new science as far as how important it is to us as a being. But I mean, we've had successes back in the 60s, even with understanding what THC did in fighting against tumors and stuff that was always kept on the hush. But once we discovered the endocannabinoid system, it wasn't long after that the government itself understood the importance of it. And even though they schedule cannabis as a Schedule 1, which means it has zero medicinal value whatsoever, they found a way to, in 2003, to get our very first patent on cannabis and on CBD in general. And people don't understand that the government owns 19 patents to date on the cannabis.
Hold on, tell me that again. 19, what do you mean by that?
They own 19 US patents that prove cannabis is effective and healthy for us. Everybody knows 6630705. If you understand the plan or you follow the plan or anything, 6630705 is the first patent that the US government has on cannabis. Subsequently, they've added 18 others.
Wait a minute, how can the government, and this is the thing that sounds crazy to me, right? How can the government have a patent on a Schedule 1 substance?
This is why we walk for change, okay?
Tell me about Walk for Change.
Okay, the Walk for Change is a movement of like communities that understand the injustices that are being brought upon us. We want to free the cannabis plant, end prohibition. There's no reason to have any rules on this plant. It's ridiculous. If you go to market with it, yes, you go to market. Everybody pays taxes and does what the market needs to do. But every human being should have the right to grow the most healthy substance for the human body right in their backyard without any question.
You know, I agree with that.
Right. I know you do. And then we want to take all those people. I have brothers and sisters that are locked away for life without the possibility of parole for this plant. I mean,
you bring up incarceration all the time too, which a lot of people don't bring it up. You bring it up constantly.
Well, I'm the chapter coordinator for Solidarity Over Separation, the Human Solution International's traveling chapter and New York chapter. When I was in New York, we chaptered there, but since we've been on the road, that's what we've done. We've taken the chapter everywhere we've gone. So, yes, prisoners and their rights to us are just as important as the freedom of people to treat medically, because we know people that are in jail for life, like we mentioned, without the possibility of parole, which is Craig Cecil. He sits in Terre Haute in the federal penitentiary, horrible prison, shit conditions, no better way to put it. They were in 30-degree cells the other night with no heat, just for punishment. They don't have food, and it's just like, well, you don't have food. The guy's a diabetic. They withhold his diabetes medicine from him. I mean, it's just a terrible treatment. And the guy is in jail for a plant, and he had nothing to do with it. He was a mechanic on a truck, and everybody else rolled. And he's serving life.
How does this walk deal with that issue?
Well, the walk in general is going to be that. Plus like I said, other civil rights groups have joined in with us. But we're going to march to Washington and tell them, listen, we will no longer stand for this. I mean, you've got law out there now that half the people we know should be free as it is. If you go by the federal laws that have been put into place, where guys that this is their first offense, it's their only thing they've ever been in trouble for in their life, and then they're sitting in jail forever. Well, we're going to demand that they use that, not just in sporadic times when they feel it it's going to make them feel good in the press. Let's do this for all of these people. No one deserves to be in jail for a plant.
So you are, okay, we jumped around a bit, but this walk for change, you were spurred to do this, to deal with several issues, right? Mm-hmm. The one we were talking about now was cannabis. But this isn't just cannabis for you. This is civil rights in general, the idea of basically ending the war on drugs, allowing people to be free.
Yes.
More awareness to cannabis, not just that it's cool to smoke, but that it has medicinal purposes also, yes. That it's an important part of our health in general. And look, with coronavirus, health is a big deal right now. Everyone's talking about that, right? So an important part of our health too. So this walk starts in California, right?
Yeah. Yes, it does. Southern California. We don't know the exact spot yet because listen, we're looking for that one big sponsor that's saying, hey, I want this. I want to be the guy that's going to kick this off.
What, are you going to wear like t-shirts if you're a sponsor or what? Like these cool
if
t-shirts?
You're a sponsor, right. If you go to our website, and the website and link should be posted, and we'll have it posted.
I posted it, but tell me what it is anyway.
Right. If you go there, you can donate. And when you do donate, you get a t-shirt. $25, we'll send you a t-shirt. The website is www.walk4change.us. That is the website. That's the direct website to where it is. What is that? And real quick, just the walk is a grassroots movement, and the purpose is to end the abuse and violation of human rights. We will end cannabis prohibition, reform our criminal justice system, obtain true equality, protect children and families, take care of our environment, empower economic freedom, and ensure liberty and justice for all. And that's truly what the Walk for Change is.
So how long is this walk going to be? About from when to when?
It's going to start June 20th, 2020 in Southern California, and we will be walking for about 3 months, just over 3 months. We're going to cover 30 miles a day.
Wow.
And we will be in Washington, D.C. in September.
30 miles a day. That's like Marine Corps marching, man.
That's right. Well, we're doing it in a really smart way, and it helps because we're doing a leapfrog kind of method. Where like a group of walkers will start in the morning, and then they'll get relief, and another group will walk. So that we cover 30
so
miles.
It's not you walking the whole thing.
Oh, well, I will try to walk every step of it, and I will try to walk every single step of this. And nobody can make that promise. That's a long, long way to go, and a very short, with a time constraint, because Our route is mapped at www.walk4change.us. It's mapped right out there. You can see when we're coming past your cities. And what we're asking for, too, is for people to have marches in cities that are parallel in states we're not going to be in. Show your support.
Okay, hold on. I want to be clear. So you're telling me a group of people will say, for example, start and say San Diego, if that's where you start, right?
Yeah.
And you'll walk from San Diego, 30 miles, and some people will quit and more people will pick up and people will join. This is almost like Forrest Gump, the movie, right?
Absolutely.
Like that.
Absolutely. And that's what happens. And then when we get to DC, we have that Million Man March, because then all of the groups and all are going to meet there. We've had connections. Well, listen, we're working with the Native Americans. We're working with the veterans. There's a lot of people that are involved because there's a lot wrong, man. And our voice finally needs to be heard. And I will tell anybody, I'll be there marching against anybody that's going to run for any position, because I know good people that can replace them. They just don't know about them because they're not heard of, but they will be by September. That I can promise.
So I feel like cannabis for you was like the trigger or the center, and you saw all the corruption around that and all the incarceration around that. And that's kind of where this grew from. Am I right?
Right. In April of last year, I woke up and I felt like crap. I lived in New York, so I had to treat illegally, as they say, to keep myself alive, because I wouldn't conform to the government and pay their card fees and be on a list and be a target. That's not me. I'm a free American. I have the right to do what I want to do and treat myself as I want to. So, yeah, I woke up and I turned on the TV. There was another shooting. I opened up my Facebook. Another friend of mine had cancer. And I said, enough is enough, man. I'm going to walk across this country and I'm going to let everybody know we've got to make some changes, man. Just shake some people up and shake hands with them and tell them they're not alone. And that was my original mission. And it's grown into this thing where everybody's a part of it. This affects every American.
There is a bit of a, I guess, even within the cannabis community, there's a bit of a, I don't know, it's an argument or disconnect, a group of people who are saying we have to totally decriminalize, and a group of people saying no, legalization's fine. Now, where I stood. I want to make cannabis a plant. I want to make it like a plant, right? Which is basically decriminalization. But I said regulate like onions so that people feel like you're regulating, but that's really not much regulation, right? That's where I stand. But not everybody stands there. Some people think that it should be legalized more like alcohol or something like that. I want to ask you two questions.
I can tell you exactly who those people are.
They
are the people with the fattest pockets that'll ever be, and they're only going to make them fatter. And they will keep throwing black young men and poor white guys in jail for doing something that they know more about, literally know more about, will ever know more about, or even care to know about than those people will ever do it. And this plant is special. It's here for a reason. It is here for us. And that's why we need it.
Well, it's funny that the story you probably heard me tell you many times is, or say many times, my father died of cancer in the 70s. And, my father was in law enforcement. First, he was a cop, and he was a corrections officer at Rikers Island here in New York City. And when he had gastrointestinal cancer. Those who don't know, that's basically cancer of your stomach and intestines. Trouble eating, trouble keeping things down. He had horrible operations. This is the 70s. They don't have what they had now, right? It was bad. So for him to eat, he often would have to use, cannabis, smoke weed, so he could, be able to eat, to be able to keep some food down. But of course, it was against the law, and he was a cop. So at that point, he wasn't a cop then. He was a corrections officer at that point. But he had a lot of friends in law enforcement. So his buddies would actually bring him into the squad car and take some of the weed they had taken from some other guy, they had confiscated from somebody else, and put this guy in jail. And they let my father smoke it in a squad car. I mean, they knew back then, right? This is 40 years ago. They knew 40 years ago that it had value.
Absolutely. And if you think about it in any kind of way, Marinol has been around forever.
Tell me what that is.
And Marinol, even though it's synthetic, it's still a cannabis derivative, they say. It's like alternative to the plant. So, they've understood the benefit of this plant well before. And they used to diagnose people. Listen, people used to get free weed for life, if they had glaucoma or,
yep.
and things like that, and the government would send it to him in a canister. There's a guy in Florida that still gets it, he'll have it for the rest of his life because it was a contract he had made way back then with, the federal system. But we don't need to make those contracts. We shouldn't have to. And listen, the thing about it is, guys, is we're going to walk from Southern California to Washington, D.C. And anything anybody can help out with, we truly appreciate that, because listen, there's going to be nights we're sleeping outside the whole time.
Do you need, now, obviously you need people to donate. Obviously, I get that.
Of course. Yes.
Tell me a little bit about what that money goes to, right? When someone donates, tell me a little bit about what that money goes to. What are the requirements for this to work, to be as effective as you want it to be?
Mm-hmm. Well, we need a minimum, a bare minimum of about $30,000 to just walk across the country.
Okay.
I mean, that's just eating.
Sure,
what I mean?
That's like food and water, basically.
Right, and exactly, a pair of shoes maybe every because you're never going to be able to go through one pair of shoes.
Sure.
So hell, if you're a sponsor and you have a shoe company, please, that's a great sponsorship.
I love that idea.
We'd love to partner with you. Throw you on our shirt, on our feet, and everything else. So, there's lots of ways people can.
So
get
you need
involved.
things
So
like you need things like water, food. You need things like shoes. Are you going to be happy? I assume you need something like shelter. You're going to stay in hotels. You're going to get tents.
No, we're not doing hotels. We're going to do primitive camping. We've got a couple of RVs that people have.
RVs, okay.
But
so that means gas.
They still need work too. The one needs about $5,000 worth of work. So that's what I'm saying. The money will go to get us across the country.
Got it.
So, $30,000 is not a lot of money. I promise you, to try to walk your can from one side to the other. And it'll be a lot of rice and beans, but heck,
can someone give monthly or weekly, or it's just one time?
They can. You go to the donation, that's the donation link that's on there, or go to the website www.walk4change.us, and it'll say get involved, and it'll have a donation button.
Yeah.
You can do it monthly, a one time. You can do it however you want to do it. It's set up right there, and you can have it attached to your card, your PayPal, whatever.
So let's assume someone can give some money, and let's say they can't give that much. They can give 10, 20 bucks a month, whatever they can give. Is there another way they can help besides just the 10 and 20 bucks a month?
Absolutely. Get involved, because this only works, folks, in solidarity. If you can't be a part of the main walk, and the only way you can, feel your involvement is make a sign and walk, take a walk,
sure,
shoot a video, put it on our pages. We need to show that this is a countrywide thing, not just a bunch of people marching across the country with one sole, thought in mind. We want everybody to get involved. When we have 90% approvement of cannabis and 66% of Americans just saying it should just be legalized in general. I mean, that's an overwhelming majority, folks. That is 3 times the amount of people that even consider to go out and vote in a national election.
So are you going to be having events on the way there? In other words, you stop by City 1, you do a rally. You stop by City 2, you do a rally. That kind of thing?
That's what we're doing. We should have probably about 8 major ones as we go across the country. And there's one in Texas that's already brewing in the Austin area. And we can't wait for that. They've had 2 pre-events leading up to it, and they're really looking forward to us. And we'll be there in July. So there's plenty and ample opportunity. I know we're going to have one in Kansas. I know in Missouri, because we've got great following there, and chapter leaders for the Human Solution as well that are there. And I know those guys are rallying and come together. There's one in Ohio. So they're all over the country, as we come across, guys.
So if someone wants to help, they can donate monthly, 20, 30 bucks, whatever they can afford, right? They can show up at any of these events. If any by their city, bring a sign, right? Only of those things. They can walk a bit. If you're going to be near them, they can jump on in and do the Forrest Gump and walk along with you if they want. So that's good for in person and money. But how about online? What's the social media way that they can help?
Well, you can share our page, man. www.walk4change.us. Make sure that website gets out there, because the more people we get there, the more people that understand it. They'll understand the fairy trail, which is those satellite walks that we were just talking about all over the country that are coming in, and people signing up for that. We're looking to try to see if maybe we can have April's coming soon. But let's try to have who can have the best Walk for Change 420 event? Let's throw a party for this, guys. Let's show people that we're through with the nonsensical treatment of Americans. We want our country.
I saw on Facebook, you have, this is not just your Facebook page. There's smaller groups within, like there's a for each city and that kind of thing, right?
Absolutely. You can go to any state in the United States and find a Walk for Change group. Just look for our logo. Make sure you see our logo on it, because there have been other ones. But this one here, man, I'm telling you, has to happen. It's gonna happen. It has to happen, and we're just so glad for the excitement we've had so far. Because believe me, we've had a tremendous amount of response with, like I'm saying, these satellite walks and people saying, "What can I do?" Like you're asking,
So when I look at this, do you have already a politician who is kind of like, yeah, I may want to jump on board this? I mean, I can feel like politicians are going to be scared of this until probably you're walking towards Washington, right? I mean, look, I maybe they aren't, but my knowledge of politicians tells me they're going to be scared of this until they see you basically, 3 hours outside of DC. Then all of a sudden they're going to love you.
And listen, it's always good to talk to guys, especially the future leaders of the country. And we get their support on a handshake and a wink and a nod at this point in time. And I do understand that. And I try not to align myself with this walk with a political focus, even though I have my own political agenda, and everybody involved has their own. So
of course.
But that's what makes America free. So that's the way we're treating it. It's just like the walk. We don't involve none of it in it. But we've had a lot of support, though. We have. And that's
but you've got to be looking for a political answer at the end of this, right? At the end of this, you're going to want some form of political answer, some form of relaxation of laws, some form of maybe getting cannabis off the Schedule 1 list or something like that. Have you decided, and maybe you haven't yet, I know we haven't started yet, but have you decided what's a win? Like, how do you judge we crossed the finish line? Like we made the impact.
What I will say is leaving Southern California and going to Washington, D.C. is a win. There's no loss in that. There's zero loss in it. It's as spiritual as it is important, so it's definitely a win all around. But we're looking to bring, now again, how can people help again? Volunteer. Like we'll need volunteers. We'll need water stands along the way, guys. As we're coming by, as we're coming by, be a water station for us. Things like that. There's always something. You just be inventive. Think about it. Think of it yourself. Like imagine yourself walking across the country and going, what do I need? Like what would you be looking for? Porta potties. If you own property and we're walking by, or if you own a farm and you can look at our route and say, you can camp on our place for 2 nights, that helps us, gives us a place to rest and a place we know we can at least get a porta potty stationed or something. There's many ways people can be involved that they don't even realize.
I want to bring up something that we didn't really talk about much, and I think some of the people who are watching are asking about it, and that is hemp. The reason why I bring up hemp is even I'm confused on how hemp is legal but isn't legal, is cannabis but isn't cannabis. This is confusing. Can you quickly just kind of give us a down and dirty difference between the two?
Well, all is cannabis. Cannabis is all. It's all the same plant, just different strains. Hemp is a specific sativa strain, which just means that it grows taller and thinner. But hemp is specifically a nutraceutical and not a medical plant. The THC levels are below 0.03%. That's what classifies a hemp plant from.
Got it.
And now Pete, there's a lot of argument in oh, well, people who, people look and say, oh my gosh, he said it's a nutraceutical, it's not medical. Listen, people do get medical relief from hemp. If their symptoms aren't as bad as they think they are, it may correct them but it's not it's only considered a nutraceutical because of resin content. And there's a difference in the resin content in a hemp strain from other forms of cannabis.
So this is just to make everything, just decriminalize everything. That's
Absolutely.
What this walk is about.
Hemp is an incredible plant, man. I wish all my clothing was made out of it instead of cotton. Cotton's poison, It's terrible. It's horrible material, but, we wear it because that's what was offered. But if we had hemp available, my gosh, are you kidding? It's long, it's more durable. Levi and Strauss made their jeans originally with hemp, so listen, they're durable, and you couldn't get a better, more rugged jean than Levi's back when it originated. So let's get back to the simple things. People are afraid and call it new. It's only something old that we threw to pasture that we never should have. We made a wrong turn in the road. And when you make a wrong turn in the road and you're headed down the wrong path, you have two decisions. You can continue down the crash path, or you can go back to where you made the wrong choice and make a different one. You know what I mean? And that's it. And that's all we have to do. We're not reinventing the wheel. For 10,000 years, the Chinese have been treating with this plant. So it's nothing new.
Someone just brought up the idea that, is this going to draw the ire of local police? Do you have a worry or concern about that? Some local cop saying, not in my town, you hippies, and trying to stop you in some way.
There are a couple of states, of course, that everybody has concern in. Okay.
Sure.
But what I'll say is, in general, the police really don't care about pot. And we're not going to be walking down the road burning fatties,
Okay. Well, maybe you
we're
won't. There might be
people.
somebody though.
Right. Hey, at camp at night, I don't care what anybody tells me. I'll do what I want. It's my time. But honestly, that's not what it's about. It's not about making a statement like that. Do I believe all weed should be free, and where I can smoke pot? Well, yes. But you can't really smoke pot in public anywhere, even in legal states. Don't let them kid you. People hear the word legal state and they think they're home free. No, more people go to jail in California every day than most states in the union. And it's legal, isn't it? No, folks, no. They will find a way. That's why we don't need regulations and licensing and blah, 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 blah. And people will go, well, what about my pot? I want good, clean pot. Well, good. Go grow some good, clean pot. Don't put Miracle Grow in it. Let it grow in God's natural earth, and you yourself will have something organic and natural. It's just that simple.
So I assume that means that people are going to know, law enforcement are going to know you're coming through, so that they can just watch and feel like they're in charge of stuff.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, well, we're not making a secret of it. We post our stuff everywhere. This isn't like a rainbow gathering. We're doing this live, and we want everybody involved. If
someone has a sponsor or is thinking about a sponsor, if there's a shoe company or a shirt company or a weed company, right, a cannabis company or whatever, or an investment group that's thinking about doing this, how do they get a hold of you? What should they do? Should they go to the website also? Should they tweet you? What should be the way?
Again, they can go www.walk4change.us. There's a sponsored link on there.
Got it.
Anybody can always directly get in touch with me at 845.
Don't you do that? Don't do that.
Okay. All right,
don't
then
do that.
How about they can get in touch with me through my Facebook page?
There we go.
That's fine. My Facebook page. I'm not private to anybody.
I know, but you don't want 40,000 people calling you. It's fine. I love you, Peter. Don't do it.
I only answer when I know somebody, really. So I call back when I get a message. Because if somebody's important, they'll leave a message. That's the way I always think of it.
I love it.
But heck, if you go to my stuff, you can find out how to get in touch with me in any way. My Gmail.
Beautiful.
Anywhere. It's all online. I don't hide.
Okay, that's what makes sure you're the point of contact. That's who it is.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, they can get in touch with me at any time. Yeah, anytime.
Excellent.
And I can direct them right to where they got to go. That's for darn
Are
sure.
you doing any more the events like this? Are you doing any more social media events like this that we should worry about? And if so, where do we find those out? Is it at the website also?
Yes, if you go, we have a calendar up and it gets updated daily. It's now, please bear with us on it because we just put the new calendar on there to make it a little bit more user friendly for us. So we are adding things and things will get added to the calendar as they come up. But there's a lot of great stuff going on. Like I said, there's an event going on in Texas this weekend. There was one, I think 2 weekends ago, called Seeds for Change. You know, and I mean, it's all leading up to the walk. So when they meet us there in June, July, and then whoever's going to start walking with us from there is going to join along and gather on. So that's what it's about, folks. It isn't going to be, you know, full.
I just lost you, Peter. I think I just lost Peter. Well, I guess what he's trying to say is it's not just going to be a bunch of people talking. It's going to be an actual event that moves people across this entire country. I'm excited about it. I think it's amazing. I'm going to see if I can get involved somehow. I'm not sure where. Maybe I have to head on down to DC and meet you down there or something like that so I can figure out my way of getting a part of this. I hope that all of you who are watching saw the value of this kind of movement, this kind of march, and how valuable it is. Again, head on over to www.walk4change.us. If you want to support, please do so. All right, guys. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you all soon.